Hello everyone! Welcome to Chess Comic, where we learn, laugh, and checkmate. For today's video, we're going to look at a position where white starts with a simple queen's pawn opening, nothing fancy, nothing risky. White doesn't play the worst moves here, but in chess, every move has a consequence. Developing your minor pieces is important, but it is not enough. You also need to know the right squares. Take note, the right squares on where to move your pieces. And if you understand those consequences, even a small inaccuracy can be taken advantage of. So if you guys are ready, let's see how black can respond correctly and why each dubious move creates a new opportunity. Here, white starts with d4, a normal queen's pawn opening that black responds onto d5. The first inaccuracy that white played is pawn to e3. It's not a move that will make white lose, but the point is, it would have been much better if white moved the dark square bishop out before locking its chain. And now this bishop is already clogged. And black just developed the knight normally, and white developed knight to c3. At first you may think, there's nothing wrong with this move knight to c3. Actually, it's minimal, because white developed its knight correctly to the c3 square. Although, let me just explain something. It would have been much better if white played pawn to c4 before moving its knight to c3, so that it gives the white queen enough mobility or space to develop later. Right? This queen usually goes to b3 or c2 together with the bishop on d3, so it can attack on this diagonal. Okay, now let's go back to what happened. Black developed its bishop to f5, which is a great square for the light square bishop, because one of black's plan later is to play pawn to e6 to close and create a chain, and the bishop is out, compared to white's dark square bishop, which is inside the pawn chain. Okay, here. White played knight ge2. I can say that this move is not the best move for white, because the knight on g1 is much better on f3. And aside from that, it blocks its own light square bishop. Although in the long run, this knight can reroute to g3 and then the bishop can develop to e2 and then castle. Right? Okay. Here, black played knight to c6. Now, black is the one who played the second move, right? So it's like white goes first. But if you're going to count the piece development, specifically the minor pieces, black is ahead. Black was able to develop 3 minor pieces in just 4 moves, while white has 2 minor pieces developed. And now white played bishop to d2. One of the worst moves that you can play in this position. Yeah, it's true that white developed its bishop, but it's actually not a great move. And in this position, I want you to give yourself a minute. Find the best combo for black to either win material or checkmate. Go. Pause your video. Alright, the correct combo is knight b4, threatening knight takes c2, forking the king, the rook, and actually, there's no way for white to save its king except to sacrifice its queen. So, white played rook c1 to protect, because if black tries to capture, the rook will just take. It's an equal point in which black lost a bishop and a knight, 6 points. White lost a rook and a pawn, which is 6 points as well. Although, white is much better here because it's 2 minor pieces versus the rook, and the pawn will only materialize later in the endgame, which is far from happening. So let's go back. Instead of playing knight takes c2, the correct move for black is bishop takes c2, bloop, attacking the queen, so the queen is trapped. If the rook takes the bishop, the knight can play to d3 to deliver a smothered check, the mate. And if white doesn't take the bishop, it's pretty obvious that white will have to lose its queen. I hope you guys learned from this video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the good chess vibe. Until next time. Bye bye for now.